Nolan, good talking to you, buddy. I'd say Happy New Year, but that's a worn-out phrase, so I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say let's get going with 2011. How's that?
Hey, I think that's the right mindset for the year. 2010 was awesome. 2011 is going to be beyond awesome.
You know, I don't know about you. The people that have been calling me, they're all super excited, super busy, and I think we're going to be in for a good year, Nolan.
Hey, I think you're absolutely right, and I think the year's off to a great start because we got so many compliments on that Christmas special. Apparently, you know how to play that banjo just a little bit.
Yeah, well, whatever it's called. But I'll tell you, that harp blew me away, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners were glad that finally we took them off the wall and made some music, if that's what it's called.
Well, it was a lot of fun to do, and for the listeners who haven't watched the Christmas special, tune in because it's still on the website and you'll get to hear us actually play those things. They're not just for decoration.
Yeah, and it's not voiceover. That's the real tune coming out of those machines.
It's the real McCoy,
the real
as bad as it might be.
I'm going to challenge you. Give me, let's do it this way. Give me 3 tips that I can focus on as we move forward in 2011. Go ahead, 3 tips.
All right, easy. Tip number 1, stop playing the guitar. Tip number 2, stop speaking to people. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, okay. Wait a minute, I'm writing these down.
Okay, actually, I do have 3 tips.
You've been talking to my wife, I know that.
Oh, yeah, that's the 3rd tip. Stop talking to your wife, and she asked me to pass that one along. Okay, I got 3 tips aimed at our travel agent buddies out there.
Go ahead.
Tip number 1, for the year, you'll have a much better year if you think about this. Think beyond the booking. That is not why people call a travel agent today. If all they wanted was a reservation, they're going to pop online where most of them think it's cheaper, even if they're wrong. That's what they think. So think beyond the booking and start thinking about the entire experience of travel. Think about advice, think about time and service and attention, think about all that stuff that makes a travel agent more valuable than just doing it yourself. The number 2 tip has to do with social media. And, you know, I'm a big believer in that. But the reason I want to bring it up again, 2010, my inbox was filled with travel agents saying how Facebook, Twitter, and all that stuff has totally changed the way they do their marketing. And I mean that in a good way. They've had some really good results from it. And my 3rd tip has to do with charge for what you're worth. You are worth so much more than $5, $10, and you're certainly worth more than just whatever percentage a supplier might pay you, even though that's good to get too. So those are my 3 tips. I'd like to hear yours, and then let's see where things go.
Well, those are going to be tough tips to follow, but I think I do have 3. And the first one I want to offer, Nolan, is to remind the people that speed wins. It's so easy to say, well, I'll get to that. I'll call them Monday. I'll write that next week. Speed wins in races. It wins in sports. It wins in sales. That when you get an email, when you get a phone call, when you get a letter, usually, or in many cases, unless you shoot yourself in the foot, the person who responds first is going to have the advantage. So think speed as we go into 2011.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, I get it.
Number 2, and this ties in a little bit with your the technology today, and I'm going to use the word focus as we go through 2011. It was a buzzword in 2009, maybe 2008, maybe 2010, but this multitasking thing doesn't work for me. I mean, you don't get any kudos when you screw up 5 things at once.
And you're pretty good at that,
and
as I
I'm
recall.
really good at that. Is that I have to focus on one thing. And when I'm talking to somebody, Nolan, and I hear a buzz and they go down and they check their text messages or they text their email, it really bugs me. Focus on who you're with. Focus on the project you're on and see it through to some form of conclusion, and I think you're going to be better off.
Yeah.
And the 3rd one is that I just wrote it down, I just checked my knee, was push travel, and this ties in with your tip a little bit. Push travel, don't sell trips. It's so easy for me to say, man, whatever you do, take a cruise. You'll love it. Go to Alaska. Get to Italy. It's so easy for me to deliver that information in an enthusiastic tone than to say, hey, can I sell you a trip to Italy? Can I book you a cabin on a cruise to Alaska? I don't care how you get there. Rob a bank if you have to. Get to Alaska.
So these are really good tips. And of course, you being the New Jersey guy, you're going to immediately think about robbing a bank. I would have said something like borrow some money from your mom.
Well, I used to say knock off a gas station, but now I just say rob the bank.
Hey, this is a pretty good collection of tips, and of course, they have a whole lot to do with each other. What you said about speed, getting back to people in a hurry, that only happens when you really can give people quality time and attention, and you can only do that if you're charging enough to not have to juggle way too many things. I think one of the mistakes that travel agents make is they think they have to handle 500 clients at once. Well, if people are paying you a fee, maybe you only have to handle 200 clients, and you can give everybody a whole lot more attention.
That's right.
Man, am I a believer in fees solving a lot of problems.
Well, that's for absolute sure. And I'm just going to use an example. I know we're running out of time today, but just before our phone call today, Nolan, I received a phone message from a woman who said that she wanted to join my mentor group, and I knew that you were going to call. I knew we were going to start filming footage here. It would have been easy for me to say, well, I'll call her back at the end of the day. What I did was I dialed the number immediately, left a voice message. I said, I received your message. I'm shooting video with Nolan. I'll get back to you before the day's out. Boom. There was my quick response. Hopefully it comes to something.
Yeah, that's such a good tip, because so often a travel agent will say, well, I didn't call them back because I don't have an answer for them.
Oh,
not an excuse.
Not good.
Call people back if all you say is, I'm still working on it, you're still important to me. It changes everything. Yeah, man, how many times have we said that good old-fashioned human service is getting harder and harder and harder to find, which means it's more valuable than ever.
Absolutely.
More valuable than ever, and that's why I come back to the fees thing again.
And the reason you do it is nobody does it. If you answer first, you have an advantage. If they listen to these 6 tips, Nolan, if the folks listen to these 6 tips and then focus, there's the word focus again, for the next 12 months, they will double, I'm going to say it, they'll double their business. If you don't double your business, I want you to call Nolan Burris up and ask for your money back.
I think a threat works better. If you don't double your business, Mike's going to keep playing the guitar on the videos, and that'll ruin everything. So you better double your business. Or it might make it worse and sing.
Listen, I'm gonna hang up now because I have to call that woman back and see if I can make some money here.
All right, because this is sure wasting time.
Nolan, I'll talk to you later.
Take care. Bye.
Okay, buddy. Bye.